Welcome to What Are You Sporting About podcast, a podcast about business, employment, sports, and entertainment to help educate, support, and guide you to your next level. Here's your host, attorney Sivonnia DeBarros.
What's up, everybody? I hope that you are having a phenomenal day. I am Sivonnia DeBarros, also the protector of athletes, and I'm so excited for you to join us for yet another podcast episode on What Are You Sporting About. Listen, if you have not gone to subscribe to this podcast, I don't know what you're waiting for. Please go navigate to your favorite podcasting platform. Click that little button that says subscribe to What Are You Sporting About podcast so that you never miss an episode. So if you guys missed NIL Combine live this past July, make sure that you go and get the all access pass. You can get that right now by going to bit.ly/all-access pass. So you can also experience the brilliance that was in the room earlier this year. So without further ado, I am super excited to introduce to you guys Miss Lydia Davies. Did I say your name right?
Yeah, you did actually, because I'm British, so you actually pronounced it correctly. It never happens.
Awesome. I'm super excited about that. Well, guys, listen here. We have a super pro in the building for y'all today, and I cannot wait to dive into this conversation. So Lydia is the founder of Osprey, and she is an ex-pop star. I mean, come on, this is the first pop star that's been on What Are You Sporting About podcast. A lot of other titles, but not a pop star, all right? But she's also a sports fanatic and a warrior of change. Lydia is currently the founder and chief branding officer of Osprey, which is a vetted membership community for women in sports and entertainment. So Lydia, welcome to What Are You Sporting About podcast. I'm super excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And I love that there's people around like yourself that are speaking out for athletes and being behind them. So yeah, we appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. I will take that love. Well, I have a quick question for you. What are you sporting about?
Well, many things. Most of all, I'm sporting for women in sports and entertainment and trying to not only connect them and have a safe space for them to go, but also to help them generate more wealth, cross-brand, and have each other in a community to create a whole circle of empowerment, which we love. We love that word, empowerment.
Yeah, and it's huge. It's huge. I feel like women in general get a very bad, stereotype around not being able to work well with each other. But as a woman and as a businesswoman, I definitely know too, once you find the right community, that is not the case at all. There are women who want to work together, who want to have the right community, who want to be supported and support others. So what made you, move from pop culture in a way to creating a space, a community where women can thrive?
Yeah, so I mean, in high school and college, I was more of an athlete and played soccer and track and all that kind of stuff. And the music thing kind of started during that same time. So during that time, I spent 12 plus years in the music industry. I was also like very active, playing lots of sports, not professionally, but for fun. And I saw the disconnect between, how a female entertainer or athlete runs their business versus a male and how much they're getting paid. And I, of course, was really young at the time when I started in the music industry. So I was, kind of clueless and naive and didn't really know what I was doing. And so I took that as a learning opportunity and observed and saw what was happening. And after leaving the music industry, I created a sports app called Teammates to get people together to play sports. And so I dove into sports tech heavily. And along the way, I met some wonderful women that are Olympic athletes and golfers and whatnot. And we started doing golf clinics and pickleball clinics and whatnot for females. And I just saw that this space was needed so badly. Like my female golf clinics would fill up in 1 hour. Like it was just, this space was needed. And then whenever I spoke to my friends that were the pro athletes, and they tell me, oh, I'm just running from practice to my accounting job, and then I've got to go home and put my kids to bed. And I'm like, hold on, wait, what? Like you've won 4 gold medals at the Olympics. You've been a professional athlete for 15 years, and you're not just doing that. You also have a full-time job and you're a mom. And even the ones that are parents, like just having another full-time job is insane. And when I heard what salaries they were getting, then I had to stop myself from throwing up, honestly, because it was so appalling that I just couldn't live with it. I just couldn't do it. And I had to do something about it. So we got a community of us together and we started Osprey because change needs to happen and people have to make it happen.
I love that. I absolutely love all of that. And I feel like some of the best brands are created to solve an immediate need or issue that they themselves, feel in the present moment. You said, just looking at all of the things that the women around you had already accomplished and were accomplishing, and were still doing. And when you compare them towards, anybody else in our society, i.e. men aren't necessarily having to take the time off to do extra things or have to go home and run to do whatever the ritual would be with their kids. And it's like this built-in societal construct that pretty much says, screw the working woman in a way, right? Because the society that we live in has pretty much mandated that women have to show up in these particular ways to be valued. Yeah. And it's not true. It's just not true. And so when you have a male partner, someone who will support you in resolving or doing household things or doing things with the kids, it makes that relationship so much better. And the woman can perform better at the things that she loves and that she enjoys doing. So you have this, go ahead.
No, 100%. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, you're so right on all of that. I mean, without the support, it's like, how are we supposed to thrive?
Exactly. Yeah. You have this philosophy that's called learn together, succeed together. And this is the underpinning of your community. So what was in your mind when you created this philosophy, and how has it been able to help the women that you are around and that you created this community for to go from excelling at something that they love to a full-time job, then to a full-time job at home? Like, how is that helping to change the scope or the narrative of what a woman should do and be?
So, so much of, like you said, what we need is support and empowering each other and supporting each other. And I think that the opportunities come in greater value when there's collaboration. So what we've found is, like, we already have several of our members in Osprey that we've connected starting businesses together because they had the same idea, the same goals, yet they didn't know how to do it alone. So we thought, we've got almost 100 members now, and we thought, this person wants to do this and this person wants to do this, so let's connect them. And then we actually take action by finding them book deals and getting them brand deals. And we've created all these fun events. We're doing a big event at the Super Bowl that all of our members are involved in and get to showcase their talent in. So it's really just about making the space for that, like, higher income level and also organization to be able to occur. Because if you're creating something that's going to give you more value and generate you more wealth, then you can cut out one of those things, like the part-time sales job or whatever thing you're having to do to keep your family going. And then not only that, it's just about what we found when we go on our pods, we do these online pods with the community, was that people felt like they didn't have any peer to talk to that understood them, even though they're on a team possibly, or they're traveling with a production team, whatever they're doing for their talent. they still found that they couldn't be vulnerable. So the space opened up this, platform for them to be able to speak to each other. And they're like, oh, I'm going through that too. And, we have a broadcaster and a sprinter that are going through the same feelings. So it's very interesting to see how that connect happens and then how they can lift each other up and, discuss it. Because when women can discuss things and get things out in the open, we can fix things. That's what we do. Like we're fixers. We make things happen. We problem solve. So it's really cool to see. And thinking about, how people have that cliche of women not being able to get along, we haven't even experienced that one time yet, which is incredible. Everybody just wants to help and be friends and be part of the community. So it's been awesome to see.
That is amazing. So you have me thinking about, so in the Black community, amongst Black women, we call this code switching, right? So basically it's when you're in one space, you mold to that space. Yeah. And then when you're in a more comfortable space, you're exactly who you are. And a lot of women have had to code switch or required to code switch, not by the nature of someone telling you that you had to act that way, but it was required that you acted a particular way, that you look a particular way, that you sound a particular way to be accepted, to be given certain privileges and opportunities that your counterparts may receive without having to change themselves at all, right? Yes. And so what you described sounds to me like code switching. I don't know how deeply it went, but it also illustrates that women across the board, depending on where they are and what type of spaces they're going into, if that space has not been safely constructed in a way to ensure that the people entering it could authentically and wholly be themselves, there is a level of distrust. There's a level, I almost kind of want to say a level of shame in a way, in terms of who you feel like you are as a person. And if you are even enough to be in that space. And a lot of other things just seem to suffer because of that. Right. And so when you can find a community like what you've created, when you can find a community, these women are saying, man, I couldn't even talk about this. Right. I couldn't even talk about this, or I couldn't share this, or maybe I just couldn't be my happy-go-lucky outgoing self because maybe it'll offend somebody, That's a huge thing. That is a huge thing. And we know that people who are encouraged to be themselves are 10 times more happier than other people, right? And when they're more happier, that means that they're going to come, they're going to show up, they're going to do things in a very gleeful way. Their productivity will be higher. So I want you to talk to me a little bit about, the impact that this community has had on women like that. And I know you kind of shared some things before, but share like some of the other, not necessarily war stories, but the beautiful testimonies that they've had. Like, how has it shown up in their homes? If they're moving from, however they were navigating work life and then coming with home life. Have they been able to see more excitement and freedom? Because freedom comes in different ways, but have they been able to see different things, even in their personal lives, just by nature of being a member of this community?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got some incredible testimonials, which we're so grateful for. And one of the main things that they've said is that I suddenly have all these ideas coming to my head. Like all of a sudden when we come off the calls or we come out of the events, my mind is just full of ideas and I want to do this and talk to this person and figure this out. And I think it's that energy, just building each other up. And I think that obviously flows into your home life as well, because if you're getting excited again about these things, and it's hard to be excited when you're a professional athlete and you're not being valued. You're working your butt off every day, training nonstop, and you're not valued because you're not getting paid what you should be getting paid, and you're not getting the sponsorships you should be getting. So I think like getting them into a space where it's creative and there's ideas bouncing off each other and they're like, oh, there is something else I can do. whenever I onboard them, I say, like, besides your talent, what do you love? Like, what is it that you really love besides that? And they have to really think about it because they focused on that for so long. Like, that's their, that's their straight line. And so I think just getting all those people together and bouncing those things off of each other, it emulates into your personal life too, because it gives you the energy to, be a better parent or go and do something fun for yourself. And what we found is, like, everybody is so desperate for fun after the last few years. Like, it's just also draining. And you're like, why can't we just go have fun? Like, women don't get to always do that. And I think just doing like some crazy off the wall things that we're doing, like, they're like, that's actually really a fun opportunity to go and meet other women and bond. And we just did a running festival with our partner All Day Running Co. And we had, we were sitting around a campfire there, and it was this really great running festival out in the forest. And they're all like, we never get to do this. We never get to just sit with other women around a campfire and just laugh. And so I think, like, just making that space, it warms your heart, like literally warms your heart. And then just, brings you all these new cool things inside your head. You think, oh, I can do something else. It is possible.
That is so good. That is so good. I pictured literally a cleansing as you were describing that. And it's true. Like, you do become energized because you begin to cleanse yourself of all the other negative thoughts and experiences, and just completely engulf yourself with what is right in front of you, of that positive, supporting, encouraged energy. And it does have personal impact. Like, I'm speaking from a person who has experience. Right. Yes. It definitely will change you.
And there's a lot of these ladies have trauma, they weren't treated properly. They weren't, there's a lot of stories that are heartbreaking and things that have happened. And, it's hard to pull yourself out of that when you're just training all the time, or you're being told, yeah, you've got another show tomorrow and another show tomorrow. And there's no time to, like, sit and think, like, oh, I'm a person still. Like, I'm a person. I'm here. So I think that value, that being around other people, other peers in those spaces, it creates this safety net that has been needed.
That is so true. That is so true. Thank you for creating such an amazing community. And definitely coming on here to talk about it, because I don't think there would ever be a time when we have too many communities.
No, everybody needs a community.
Yes.
I've been saying this for years, even when I was little, I grew up overseas. And so we had strong, like, expat communities wherever we lived. Like, without that community, I would have been lost. Like, there's something about it. Even your group of friends in school when you're little, like, those are communities. They're all small communities. And without that, without the neighbors, without, your fellow moms or whatever it is, like, you need that. It's important. It's part of life and part of giving and taking and receiving and all that kind of stuff.
Very true. Very true. I totally agree. So let me ask you this as we wrap up. What is the biggest aha moment or piece of advice that you would want any woman in entertainment, in sports, to take away from this episode, and or your community if they were to join it? What is that one thing that you want them to take away that will forever change their life?
Yeah, you're not alone. Like, you're not alone. Stand up for yourself. It's so, like you said, I think you said at the beginning of this episode, it's so hard for women to speak their minds, especially if they're in a male dominated environment as well. It's so hard to really just be authentic and say what you want to say, but you're not alone. You can do it because there's other people around you to support you and to stand behind you. Very,
very good. So good. So good. Simple phrase, right? Yeah. Very simple phrase, but it is so impactful because it's really, really true. Yeah. And I'm going to add this. If you feel like you're alone, you are alone because you choose to be.
Yeah.
Right. There are people like Lydia and communities that are literally out there with their arms open wide, just waiting for you to come in. But part of your journey to peace, to healing, to energy, to creativity, to whatever it is that you want it to be, it starts with you making that first decision, having your mind made up that I am not alone. There are people who want to support me in this. And then also just let loose of that woman Kate. That's superhero Kate. Like, let it go.
Yeah, our tagline is watch her soar. We always say, like, just fly, just spread those wings and go.
Yes, absolutely. So where can people connect with you, Lydia, and connect with the brand if they have any questions or want to become part of your community?
Yeah, so on LinkedIn, we're very active. We answer everything. Same on Instagram. We just started our Instagram account at Join Osprey. And then you can just subscribe to our newsletter, which is the Osprey Nest. And you can email us anytime, lydia@joinosprey.com. We respond to everybody.
All right. So we'll also put your information inside of the show notes so that individuals can take advantage. But absolutely sounds phenomenal. Again, I am just so proud of you. This is the first time we've ever spoken.
Thank you.
So proud of you. Businesswoman to businesswoman. We're always looking for ways to solve issues. And I love hearing about your company and what you guys have already been able to do to support women in sports and entertainment. Very needed. I know as a woman in sports and entertainment, it can be daunting at times.
Yeah,
it can feel lonely, but there are people and communities who are just waiting to support you. So if we can support you guys in any way, let us know.
Well, thank you. Thank you for creating the space and the platform to allow us to speak about it, because that is obviously part of the whole chain.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Lydia, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And guys, listen. If you have not yet subscribed to this podcast, go and subscribe. We're on all podcasting platforms. So just go to your favorite podcasting platform. Choose What Are You Sporting About podcast. Click that button to subscribe so you never miss an episode like this one. And if you're into the name, image, and likeness era, if you're a parent, college athlete, a student, a former professional athlete, this is the place where you want to be at NIL Combine. But we've already launched the annual event this past July. You still don't have to miss the information and the genius that was on the stage. You can get our all access pass by going to bit.ly/all-access pass, and make sure that all-access pass is in all caps. I am Sivonnia DeBarros, the protector of athletes, and I will see you guys later. Ciao.
Thanks for joining us this week on What Are You Sporting About podcast. Make sure to visit our website, prosportlawyer.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever your favorite platform is, so you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes or iHeartRadio. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like the show, you might want to check out our book, What Are You Sporting About? Attorney Sivonnia DeBarros is available for private consulting at sldebarros.com. And remember, we're here to educate, support, and guide you in your journey to success, because we're all sporting about something.